So I have this friend, he's also into business. He doesn't do copywriting, he does something a little bit different. He does video editing, but this same lesson applies to copywriters too. So this friend of mine, he lives with his parents, and he tells me that every time he listens to his parents, every time he listens to their advice, his life literally gets worse. So he might ask them something, they're gonna give them their advice, and then instead of things being better, just like you would normally expect from your parents, because you think they know everything, you think they're the best, you listen to their advice and you end up in a worse position than you were. And so when you do this, you're like, do my parents really know what they're talking about? It's like, why would I even listen to them? After one point, that's what you start thinking. But the problem is that this friend of mine, he cannot stop living with them because he doesn't make enough money yet. And so every time he interacts with them, especially with his dad, he tells me that he can never get on a really good conversation. He tells me that every time they try to start having a conversation, his dad is always gonna start offending him in some way, and he's gonna start making fun in a way about the things he's doing with business and video editing. And that applies to you again with copywriting. So I want to share with you some beliefs that I use that help me get 10K a month, because it's not just about parents and stuff, it's also about having negative people around you. When you have negative people around you, it's a no-no, bro, because you adopt their mindset, you adopt their fucking shit, and you internalize it, and then you start being the same. Like the quote, they say that the people you spend the most time with, you become. That's true, and I can prove it, because once this friend of mine that I'm telling you about, we went on a little trip for 2 to 3 weeks. He wasn't around his family. The only person he was living with was me and some girls and stuff we were meeting. And so what happened then is he made 5 times to 10 times more money than he usually makes. And it wasn't because I coached him. Like, how could I coach him? He does video editing. I have no idea about editing videos. So why did this happen? It was because he surrounded himself with like-minded people. So let me tell you these things you can do, the things that I do. So first of all, you cannot expect your family or the people the person who is doubting you to believe in something they've never done before. And how can you do it? How do you expect them to believe in something they've never done? Because people are always projecting to you the beliefs they have about their world, and they're projecting to you their limiting beliefs, their ideas, their philosophies, their mental models. This is what I'm doing right now. If you really think about it, I'm projecting my beliefs and my limiting beliefs to you. They're not limiting beliefs, but you get the point. It's like I'm projecting to you my beliefs. And the same happens with your parents and negative people. And so if your parents and if the people who try to give you advice aren't where you want to go, you're really taking advice from people who have limiting beliefs and they don't believe the thing is possible. And even, it's like, why would you take advice from somebody who isn't where you want to go in the first place? Why would you do that? Why would you take, I don't know, fitness advice, for example, from somebody who's fat? Let's go apply the thing. Let's go apply for this. Let's go apply the thing and then give me advice. Oh my God. So that's one thing. You cannot expect them to believe in something that you want to do just because you want to do it, because they've never seen it with their own eyes. And I've said this in a different video once again. People only believe in stuff once they see the proof. And that's what you want to do as well. You have to prove to them why this copywriting thing is going to work. And again, this goes to another thing. I don't really believe you should be this parent-pleasing kid, that little kid that tries to please their parents. I don't feel like you should be this thing, because you end up in a weird state where you try to please everybody, but you end up pleasing nobody because you want to make everybody else happy. And so you end up not being happy yourself. So if your parents, for example, are telling you to go to college, don't do this, don't do that, do this, and in your mind you're like, okay, I need to do this just so I don't offend my parents, just so my parents feel good. I don't want to make my parents feel good. So what ends up happening is you sacrifice your dreams for their dreams. Does that make sense? And the same goes with anyone that's trying to tell you what to do with your life. Like, it's like nobody can tell you what to do with your life. You are the only person who can tell yourself what to do with your life. You know yourself, you know what you want to do, you know your goals, you know yourself better than anyone. So you are the only person who can really give you advice. Even I can give you advice. I can tell you, I can show you the way, I can show you what to do, but I cannot tell you what to do. It's like this quote that I've heard like months ago or a year ago. It's like, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. It's like, I can show you the way, but I can't tell you what to do. It's up to you to decide. You are the person who decides. Because here's another thing. When you allow other people to decide for you, you end up hating them. So imagine this. You listen to your parents, you don't go to college, you listen to their limiting beliefs, you don't even pursue copywriting just because they are saying this. And then a few months pass, you fucking depressed. A few years pass, you fucking have this job that you don't even like, you go to this lifestyle that you hate, and then you end up blaming everyone about them choosing your life just because you weren't confident enough in yourself to make the jump and actually trust yourself and actually do the thing you want to do all along. Isn't that crazy that people do this? So here's another thing. You want to limit how much time you're spending with them. And again, I want to make this very clear. Your parents, bro, if they're not sick or they're not fucking crazy or whatever, they're not doing this to harm you. They're not doing this to harm you. They're doing what's best for you. They're trying to protect you while they're doing this. In their own sick way. Not sick way. In their own good way. In their own saint way. Okay, not evil, not bad way. They're trying to protect you. They're trying to keep you from making a mistake that you're going to regret down the line. But the truth is, they're trying to keep you safe. But the truth is, there's no safety. There's no safety. And if you've ever had big ambitions, you want to not have a job, you want to make 10k, 100k, a million a month, you're never going to get that shit from a job. You're never going to be able to travel the world. You're never going to be able to, like I do, pursue passion full time. Just like I do with fighting. I train 2 to 4 hours a day. I fight almost every month. I actually, as often as I can. If I could fight every week, I would do it. Fighting, traveling with my friends, having a purposeful career, creative career, because I love copywriting. It's like, you can do whatever you want, but you can never do this with a job. You can never do this with a job. And so, I want to tell you one thing. How can you... This ties back to what I said earlier about you spending time with the people you want to become. So how can you spend less time with these people? If you can, this is a lesson I shared in the mentorship, by the way. If you can avoid these people completely, how can you spend less time with them? So you can get their beliefs of your system, so you can get their beliefs out of your head, so you can get their beliefs out of your whatever, so you can get rid of their limiting beliefs, so your mind can be free, so your mind can function, and so your mind can be you. So you have your own thoughts. So you eliminate everybody else's thoughts and you only have your own thoughts. Because that's when you start to grow. When you only have your own thoughts, when you have your own thoughts and the thoughts of your mentors and the thoughts of the people who are where you want to go and the people who are exactly like you, who are your friends, and you know they want the best thing for you. And that's what I love in the mentorship the most, bro. It's like we've built this community. Everybody loves each other. Everybody feels like they belong somewhere. And I fucking love this, man. I fucking love being a leader of a community like this. It's insane. I love it. So, and the last thing I want to leave you with, actually two last points I want to make is realize your parents don't know shit about making money online. Like, if they don't run an online business, which they could, which is very highly unlikely. If they would support this. Probably they wouldn't even take you to school if they had an online business. So, realize your parents don't know shit about making money. Maybe they can show you how to cook a meal. Maybe they can show you how to clean your home, how to find a home, how to speak to somebody. Maybe they can show you how to build a good relationship. Maybe they can give you some of that advice. But when it comes to making money online, when it comes to copywriting, they fucking know shit. And that's cool. That's cool. There's no problem with that. They just don't know this. They never learned this skill. And why would they? They didn't need this. But you and I, we need this. So, the last thing I want to share with you is stop putting your parents on a pedestal. They don't know it all. And this shocked me very much. Realizing that your parents don't actually know everything that you thought they would. And it actually shocked me. It's actually shocked me that sometimes you're literally on your own after one point. They can't help you anymore. It's just something I realized. And so when you know this, when you put this into action, you realize that you're the only person who is responsible for getting your life together, for building your dream life. Because here's another thing, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, let me get arrested this supercar, bro. Let me help him making 100K a month. Let me give him 100K in cash. Let me just do this. Let me just retire his parents. Let me just book him some tickets to Dubai so he can travel some supercars with his friends. No, motherfucker, this is not gonna work. Your parents aren't gonna help you do this. Whether that's parents or anybody else, they're not gonna do this unless you're some spoiled kid. Which, if you are, I don't want you here. Get the fuck out of here. So yeah, this is what I want to share with you. Hope you get some value out of this. Do whatever you want. Literally, I would tell you, just do whatever you want. Stop listening to these outside voices. Isolate yourself for a little bit so you can see what you actually want to do. Because right now you might be influenced. You might be thinking that you want to do copywriting, but at the same time have doubts. And so what you want to do is you want to get all these voices out of your brain. This is what happened to me when it was with one of my old friends. He was in college. We had passed to the same college. We're together. We're in the best college in Greece. And so what happened is, this friend of mine, every time we went out together, he always talked to me about college. He was like, oh, so are you coming back to college this month? Or what is going on? Are you going to college? Are you going to get the certificate? What are you going to do? And so when I was not really convinced that copywriting worked 1.5 years ago, every time he said these things, bro, I remember my mind, it was getting filled with doubt. Insane doubt. Is this thing copywriting for me? Is this going to work? Am I going to get AI take over me? What's going to happen? And so I just stopped going out with this dude because I realized that every time I spent time around him, I was always filled with limiting beliefs. And so fast forward to 2 to 3 months ago, we went out together just to catch up and stuff. And he literally asked me, so what are you going to do with college? Are you going to come back? And I'm like, college? What the fuck is that? I literally hadn't thought about college in the last 12 months or something. Never. Not even a question. Since I last spoke to him. That's what I told him. Bro, I haven't thought about college since I last spoke to you. And what's crazy to me, bro, I'm making 10K a month every single month. And this is money. I'm making 10K a month in 2 years. Now it's 2 years, but I made this in 12 to 15 months. It's like I got to 10K a month in 12 to 15 months of starting from zero. And this is money he is never going to make after being in college for 6 years and having a master's degree and having a high-paying job. He's never going to make that shit. But in fucking 10 years, I'm going to be a decamillionaire, bro. It's insane. So from something I realized, some fun fact for you to know is that I've realized that people who start copywriting, I've done a lot of research on this. I've searched a lot of people. So people who start doing the thing and they don't quit, they get to 10K per month within 1 or 2 years. Then they get to 100K per month or something like that, get to $1 million a year in 3 to 5 years. How on earth are you going to do this with college? You're never going to do this with college. So don't believe anyone. Do what you want to do. Listen from people who are ahead of you. Be humble. Be arrogant. Be delusional at the same time. This is what I mean by arrogant. Be delusional. Believe you're going to get there. And you're going to get there. Stop listening to everybody. Even me, if you think I talk out of my ass, even. Yeah, whatever. So yeah. Do this. You're going to become very rich. And yeah. Hope you like this. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, share. See you next one. Love you.